Yeah, cutting it close. Let's go. What's up, everyone? How you do? How's it going? What's up, Rabbit? What's up to all lurkers out there? How you do? I mean, fortunately, my dad is ill. I mean, unfortunate for him, and unfortunate that I'm not gonna be able to see him. But fortunately, it means I don't have to go and travel out in the cold to go watch the game with him. We're just gonna, you know, stay in when it's a ball. Although now it's a regular heat wave. It's 6 degrees. The swift recovery. It's just a cold or something, or food poisoning. It's nothing serious. I know. Still wish me a swift recovery and all that, but this isn't like, oh God, wish him the best of health. This is minor stuff. We're not. It's nothing serious. Although I swear to God, if I were to get like get well cards after I told people I can't make it, I had Taco Bell, I think I might throw it back in their face. Need to be better for next weekend. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I actually don't know if we're going to see him at all for the next weekend, because for whatever reason, they put the Bears game on Saturday night. I don't know why. And so we haven't talked that over. But what if the Bears win? I'll be a little disappointed. I'm honestly more worried about today's game than I am about next Saturday's. Like, the Bears are good, but yeah, that's not a command. See, I give in and give him a first command. And being the anti-conformist degenerate that he is, he actively avoids using it. It's just how he's wired, man. Actually, I should probably make sure the bot's up, because it was updating when I started stream. Okay, it is up. You didn't know there was a first command? There is. You found it. You found the first command. It's misspelled. I don't care. Here, let me show you the bottle of cares I have. Look at them all. Look at all the cares. Look at all of them that are remaining. They're all gone. It's so full of cares. It's my next prop. I need to get a label that just says X. Although actually, as far as like important things to do, there is one thing I want to do. And I gotta put a note in to do it for Monday. I'm gonna put that right there. Yep, it is only once per stream, so it is in fact a legitimate first command. Also, there are like 8 different prizes TM for being first. With like massive air quotes. I could also just manually reset it too. Oh, okay. I got... You were the first, but you didn't say first. Checkmate, atheists. I also want to make sure I did add a thing so that the moment the stream does end, all right, there. I did very quickly add a thing because right now it's set to its cooldown set to like 36,000 seconds, which is, I don't know, some huge amount of time. Yeah, you are the one who found it first. You're like, God damn it. That is also why each of them says, congratulations, you're the first person to say first in today's stream. If I was better at the variables for the commands, I would have it announce who said it to. But I don't know that much about this bot yet. The first, yeah. I also did quickly change it so that not only does it have a 36,000 second cooldown, but when the stream ends, it automatically will reset the first cooldown. Actually, I could put that on the Firebot start subroutine. Which reminds me, we should go ahead and kill that. Pause the alerts. We should actually get started with the podcast. I also just muted that audio channel. Yeah, we got to get the podcast done first. Then I got to go watch a game I am both worried about and unconcerned with. Then I'll come back to do stupid things. Play your Alexa request. I think I'll do that instead. Excuse you, bot. Why are you ignoring the correct channel for where SFX commands are coming from? You guys still didn't hear it. What the actual f***? God damn, this is awful. I am gonna kill this bot if it's gonna misbehave like this. Nope, that's the right channel. You're supposed to be on that audio device. Why are you not on that audio device? Why are you on the default one? This actually is awful. This is like flip table. I'll be in my trailer level of awful. There we go. I'm gonna blame. You know, it actually might be a Windows problem. No, this would be like Bill O'Reilly, like stomping off the set levels of awful. Because it just means that like an entire soundboard could heckle me the entire time. Well, I mean, already I already do this podcast in a f it, we'll do it live style as it is. What's up, Quadratic? What's up, Lich? How you do? It really is, man. It really, really is. Like, I swear, if I can't sell the Z840, I might try to see about having it be a test bench to try and move the entire production over to Linux. Just because at the rate Windows is going, I feel like it's inevitable that I have to just go to a Linux distro at some point. Because this is getting to be completely unacceptable. The big thing is that I don't know if all the software I use is Linux compatible or not. But Linux doesn't have AI integration. I'm already convinced to go over to Linux. You don't have to convince me further. Also, you say that, but I got bad news for you. I got some bad news. You're not gonna like it. But that's for in a little bit. I'm also not gonna lie, I'm greatly amused how well the compressor works. It can go from my normal speaking voice to being like, oh, you're not gonna like it. Nope, it ain't gonna be good. Nope. No siree. It's gonna be awful. And the thing pretty much has it at almost near the same volume. Does Microsoft have a Linux distro? You know, it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Like, that's the thing, right? There's so many Linux distros out there. It's called Mac. It is true. I mean, there probably are. I don't know if there's any like Linux distros that have like full AI agency like Microsoft really wants to do. They probably have an internal distro. They probably do. They probably have some fork of Red Hat that powers like Azure or something like that. All right. Where's my notes? There's my notes. 3, 2, 1. Coming up today on Eagle Eyes on Tech, Australia is banning teens from social media. AMD is in denial about an AI bubble forming. YouTube AI moderation is eliminating longtime content creators, and the French, yes, the French, claim victory over all of video gaming, all thanks to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. All that more coming up today on Eagle Eyes on Tech. Although, you know what the funny thing is? As I'm going through my old servers and being like, all right, I got bills to pay. I don't need these units. Let's strip them down and get them ready to be sold on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. One of them includes my old RO server, the R320 Black Dawn. I might not be able to sell it just because it looks like it has a CPU error. The system is detecting that voltage is out of spec. But also, I can't get data off it. I wanted to just like get the old data off it and store it on Remder. The problem is that that server runs on Windows Server 2008 R2 because young me did not know better. And I don't know what the password is. It is stuck. And even better, the system is in a RAID 5. It is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did try that. I remember it being a really simple password. I also tried QWERTY. It's not AI. It is not password 1. It is not password. It is also not password with an at symbol for the A and a 0 for the O. There are tools you can just boot and just strip the password out of an old operating system like Windows Server 2008. It's also why in the hacking world, the rule of thumb is once you have access to the server, to the hardware, all bets are off. Because there's tools like that that exist. They cost money though. Oh. They might have at one point. But when you're talking the server equivalent of Windows 7, you can find ISOs for that sort of thing that are very free and very pirated, or very open source and never cost anything. Yeah, it's just Server 2008. Like, I'm not sure like what the I'm not even sure what the specs were on that thing. Like, I thought there was a CPU problem and it was just like dying the moment it got into OS environment. So like, I know it had 12 gigs of RAM. I took out 2 sticks thinking that was the problem. I'm not even sure what the CPU. Oh no, the CPU said it was 1.9 gigahertz. On a Dell PowerEdge R320. So probably a quad core chip. I mean, like, it's not a very powerful computer. Like, not at all. But I mean, hey, for someone it'll be a good, what, 4 3.5 bays in the front. Just ZFS all of them. I think we're talking a pretty good, like, 30 terabyte server. No problem. Yeah, exactly. Media server would be fantastic. Just not with the drives that are in it, because the drives in it are old. Oh my god, the drives in it are so old. Rip Warner Brothers. Oh, that reminds me. There is a story I don't have. That for some reason my news curators didn't have it. We'll throw this in towards the end. What's up, Dankus? How you do? All right, let's actually start. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, North Swim. Good morning, this is Eagle Eyes on Tech. I am Eagle Falcon. We got a lot to talk about, as chat says that I should go and flub the intro. Joke's on you! Take that, doubters. Though I will say, it is a struggle. It is a struggle and a half right now to find good news in the tech space. Everyone is doom and glooming about pretty much everything. The RAM shortage hangs over everything. The rather forceful AIification of everything continues to be shoved down everyone's throats. And it really does feel Like everything good and exciting about technology is just being forced to die for no good reason. And now we get this story. Samsung is reportedly going to be stopping their SATA SSD production. Now, this is a little, it's odd how to read this, okay? Because if I read this headline at any other time, you just assume, oh, they're focusing more on NVMEs. Yeah, that makes sense. For the most part, SATA SSDs right now are just used for what we used to use physical hard drives for, or mechanical hard drives. They're just used as cheap storage. Nowadays, most people don't even have mechanical hard drives in their systems. Heck, I have a little home lab, and nothing in production right now uses mechanical hard drives. Which I'm not sure what that says about my home lab setup, but I digress. But with the entire AI-induced shortage of RAM chips and NAND flash, this is viewed instead as a canary in the coal mine that may lead to SSD shortages. Now, do I think that, we need to start going and panic buying SSDs? Obviously, I don't think we should be doing that. A lot of experts are saying that this is actually going to be a bigger blow to the consumer market than Micron ending. Well, this article is saying Micron ending consumer RAM. Nobody in the know has said that Micron has stopped making all consumer RAM. Micron closed up their crucial business division, their first party RAM vendor. Micron most likely will still be making consumer RAM. It's just going to be known as Corsair or G.Skill or any infinite number of other RAM vendors that don't actually make their own RAM chips. But Eagle, if they go ahead and not be crucial, then why would they sell to the others? That doesn't make sense. It's because contracts. Micron still has long-standing contracts with those vendors. They aren't just going to end those contracts on a whim and risk ruining their business-to-business reputation. That's not a smart move. Just like this most likely is not an early sign of Samsung getting out of consumer SSD production, because that's what people are saying. Oh, it's going to be there's going to be 18 months of price pressure from Samsung because they're ending the production of SSDs for now. We don't know. This is all speculation. And quite frankly, I think right now, the doomer mindset is taking over a lot of leaking and reporting out there. Like, don't get me wrong, it's bad. If this is correct, that Samsung is going to halt SATA SSD production, it's going to be bad for the market, but it's not going to be massive like a lot of people are thinking. Some people are asking, is this an unsubstantiated leak? It is a leak from a, quote, well-known hardware leaker. Specifically, this is coming from Tom from Moore's Law is Dead. So, I mean, he has a history of being right about these sort of things. The thing is that a lot of people are reading into this and assuming the absolute worst. That being said, I still recommend hope for the best, plan for the worst. I'm also going to say, man, PC building next year is going to be a barren wasteland. Oh boy. It's going to be insane how few people are going to be PC building in 2026. It's going to be nuts. Just how few people are going to care at all. Meanwhile, Australia has put into effect their teen social media ban. So if you are under the age of 18, you can no longer access social media. No Facebook, no Twitter, no other Twitter, no Discord, no YouTube, no Instagram, no nothing. Oh, this is gonna be good. Now, with that said, oh, I'm sorry, it's under 16. How long do you think it's going to be until kids find a way around it, if they haven't already? In fact, heck, how long until adults find any way around the current checks? Because nobody's going to have their face scanned and then tied to their real name, age, address, and all that other kind of stuff to verify I am a real person made by real being. While every kid out there just goes ahead and gets around the whole nonsense by just, you know, doing that crazy thing called a VPN. There's going to be a lot of people on Discord all of a sudden being registered from Russia or anything. Someone in chat says, or lying on registration. I mean, yeah. They are doing more than that because it is relying on facial tracking. So you got to spoof that. and then you have to go ahead and make a fake ID if the website is opting to use ID registration. Like, there's a lot involved, and quite frankly, I dislike all of it. I'm not gonna lie, I really do dislike all of it. Just because it's going to be a security nightmare. I don't want to go ahead and make sure that a metric ton of my personal data is held by a third party that went ahead and pushed for all this. Heck, I remember, let me actually double check on this. I'm pretty sure there's already been a data breach involving exactly this. So yeah, we'll see how it goes for Australia. I could have swore I had an article that already spoke about how there was a leak from Discord specifically, or not Discord, but like one of the age verification partners of Discord, where in fact they found out, yep, sure enough, you already have a breach. And a bunch of people already lost their data. Whee! I'm also really, really surprised at kind of like how one chatter is saying, how so many people are falling for the "but think of the children" excuse. Because that's the push with all this, right? Oh, we need to protect the children. Oh my God, we don't think of the children. The children. Yep, let's think of the children. Let's not think about how this whole thing utilizing this new technology, which I am convinced this whole thing is pushed by these age verification companies. Like, that's my theory, right? Company pops up. We have technology that uses facial scanning and securely storing of data to verify the user is adult. They push not to companies, but to lawmakers that they can protect the children. Lawmakers then mandate you have to go use service. I am convinced, I can't prove it, mostly because I haven't gone and researched to see if this is the case or not, but I am convinced this is the order of how we got this. Now, someone with more time than me, go ahead and find out if that's exactly how this sort of thing happened. But yeah, good luck, Australia. I don't envy you. In lesser news, though, Facebook was fined $266 million, or rather euros, as they were fined in the EU. Actually, how much was it actually in euros? It was, in fact, 200 million euros. When did The Verge become a subscription website? Literally looking over the article, it stopped me mid swipe. Verge, my brother in Christ. You're barely even worth having for free. You exist as a footnote for my podcast, and that's it. The quality of your writing is only one single notch above using a free clone of ChatGPT to get my news. Your writing quality is so poor, not even AI will train off you. And you want $5 a month? Get out of here. Get out of here. That is laughable at best. All right. Well, now that we've gone over the fact that The Verge is delusional as all can be, Facebook and Meta, as a result of the €200 or the 200 million euro fine. Could you imagine if the EU fined Meta only €200? That's like buying a Twinkie in a vending machine to Meta. Heck, I'm pretty sure Meta has probably spent more in like Office donuts. Yeah, they were fined 200 million euros, which actually makes them have to go and sigh before signing the check over for it, rather than who cares. And thus, Facebook and Instagram are changing the way they operate because of the fine. So before you go, 200 million euros, that's nothing to Meta. It's enough that they are changing the way they operate. So it's not nothing. It is something. Something that they have taken action for. And that's it. But they'll now give the options that European users will see fewer personal ads and instead more general ads as a result of the data mining fine. So yeah, not too surprising. A little surprised that Meta actually went ahead and did work for this. I'm more surprised The Verge decided to go subscription only for their written articles. Are you kidding me? That by far is the funniest thing of the day. The Verge thinking that they're worth. You know what? Actually, no. The Verge did this ahead of CES just so I can't make fun of them for their bottom tier garbage fake awards they give for CES. We can't laugh at them for their own CES awards anymore, not without paying $5. And I ain't doing that. I ain't paying $5 to go ahead and mock The Verge. Someone in chat says they are selling tickets to the clown show this year. There's a difference, though. The clown show is entertaining, and I would pay money to see good clowns. This, however, are the worst kind of clowns. The clowns that think they're serious. And those are bad clowns. Speaking of bad clowns, Trump has signed an order to block the states from enforcing their own AI rules. This most likely will not stand. I'll just tell you that right now. Now, I am not a legal expert in any way, shape, or form, but I do know that in most cases, the state sovereignty clause does stand. And if a state did decide that they do wish to control how AI operates within their own state, they do have the right to do that. I imagine this sort of executive order, if taken to court, will not stand. Someone in chat says they can try and use the interstate commerce clause. They might. Admittedly, I don't know all the details. But the fact that we are trying to go ahead and push more and more how we want to govern AI, it just kind of makes me shake my head at how so many companies continue to put all of their eggs, and I do mean all of their eggs, into the AI basket. And look at where we are on the government side of things. We're still in the middle of trying to create laws and rules for how AI can even operate. I know the wheels of government move slow. That is part of their normal way they function. But holy smokes, I want moments like this to just be an eye-opening moment, just like, yeah, we're still in the early infancy of AI. But it wants to pretend that it's a mature space when it clearly isn't. It's absolutely insane. In fact, heck, you want to talk about just how insane everything involving AI actually is? The world of AI is so insane, I can get you to root for a Disney lawsuit. And it's not even hard. Disney says that Google AI infringes on copyright on a massive scale. No! Really? You think? Now, currently, this is not anything like with any teeth. All Disney has done so far is, I'm actually not even sure if it is a cease and desist. I believe it is just a legal memorandum stating that Google is violating the entertainment conglomerate's intellectual property in multiple ways. That the legal notice says Google has copied a large corpus of Disney works in order to train its generative AI models, which it believes, as Google's image and video models will happily produce popular Disney characters, they couldn't do that without feeding the models lots of Disney data. Oh, never mind. It actually is an official cease and desist. At least according to Ars Technica, it is a cease and desist. So You know, I have been saying this one prayer quite a lot lately. And I want to say it again here. Please let it happen. It would be so funny. Please let Disney sue Google. It would be so funny. So we'll have to wait and see how this all goes down. Now, someone in chat says that Disney has money, so maybe something will be done. But for independent artists, here's the question, though. Does the lawsuit result in a court ruling that leads to legislation that protects independent artists? That is the question. Which again brings me back to my whole point of we are so early in AI's life cycle. And we continue to want to pretend that it's mature. And AI currently is anything but mature. We're going to take a break here. When we get back, I have even more AI-based topics to talk about. And spoiler alert, there might be one or two that are pro AI, but the majority are not. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Oh God, what? So, yes and no. Like, generative AI is evolving very, very fast. Like, it is still shocking to look at the difference between, say, the first iteration of Will Smith eating spaghetti and the current render of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and just how much is advanced. In fact, heck, you look at some services based on open model from a couple months ago versus current one, and it's shocking how different the quality is. Hell, I thought I found a cool artist. It turned out the music was AI. And some of the music is still good, but it's still, it's insane what AI can do, but it's also insane on how much more AI has to do and how much it has to still go before it's ready for prime time. And how slowly the rest of society is adapting to it. Like, we still don't have an answer as to the copyright answer, to the copyright question of generative AI. We still don't. I mean, heck, I look at the subtitle tool we had. We had a subtitle tool that used algorithms to go ahead and read my voice and make subtitles for it, and it was decent. It was decent enough that I used it. Now that same tool uses generative AI, and holy smokes, could we get that its generative AI model to absolutely torture the shit out of my GPU to run. And the end results were worse. The end results were unusable. Pegged my poor 460 to its limits. And it was just like, yep, we're good. Part of me would have been very curious, even though I know it's way less efficient, if I let that same AI tool access to all 24 cores of the Z840 instead of a GPU, how much it would suffer to do it. I feel like someday we're gonna be blindsided. We're still being blindsided. Like, we can rip on the quality of AI all we want, but the thing is that think of AI like a perception check or a spot check in D&D, but it has a massive penalty. No matter what it rolls, the end results might look a little better. Oh, it's still crap. It's not really ready. You missed it. You missed it again. But then suddenly it rolls that 20 and it is indistinguishable from someone with working eyes. Like, AI music right now is, I would argue, AI music right now, unless you were musically savvy, you could not tell the difference between AI music and normal music. Like a D20 minus 9. I would almost say a D20 minus 15. Like, it has no chance, but when it gets that nat 20 and gets the auto success. Oh my God, it's golden. Although what gets me is people that look at the AI quality and then go, yeah, this is fine. There is, I work with a coworker. Like, that statement in itself sounded really, really stupid. One of my coworkers, when I cover for their shift at the end, usually they are sitting at the table watching the front counter, usually folding an order, and they're watching something on their phone. You know what they've been watching on their phone lately? It's been videos of Subway Surfers with an AI voiceover reciting an AI generated story. And it's like very unapologetically, that's what it is. Like the lowest of slop that can be. So like, no matter how much you think like, oh, this is crap, no one will watch it, someone watches it. And I don't know why, but people do it. Let's get back to it, shall we? Three, two, one. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. Someone in chat says AI doesn't need to be better, it needs to be cheaper and adapted. No, here's what AI needs to be better. 100% AI needs to be better. If you expect AI to go ahead and do the things that it's doing right now, its quality and consistency needs to be better. Period. Like we were talking during the break about that I actually know people who do watch like some of the lowest quality AI slop videos that exist. But if you expect AI to go ahead and replace like tech support or customer service, it needs to be way better. We're actually going to be getting into later on one of the worst offenders right now for use of AI causing actual problems, like major problems, and the company that uses it are in complete denial of it. Someone in chat says decision makers often choose price over quantity. Decision makers need to go ahead and consider far, far, far more than just price or quantity. You need to determine quality, reputation, price, return on investment. There's so many factors on business decision makers rather than price over quantity or price over quality or whatever. The problem right now is that there are far too many decision makers that are falling for the fact that AI can do all these things, but it doesn't do them often. Like, this demo right here seems very, very interesting. A new experimental feature of Chrome may be coming into effect, where it will look at your open tabs and create apps using generative AI to try and make the website you're using more useful. And, you know, something like this might have been more helpful and might have actually saved Chrome OS. You know, if Chromebooks actually had processing power that was more than this pen. But for the most part, I just don't see many people going, oh man, I love it. What a great feature. But hey, you know, if you're one of those said decision makers and you see, oh wow, how great. We can just go ahead and have a tab open up on the side here that just go ahead and looks at all your browser tabs and tries to create a useful link of everything you're doing. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Whereas the actual person who does the work for a living is just like, no, leave my stuff alone. Let me just do my job. But this is the bill of goods that's being sold to us. It's not very good, but it's what we're getting. Meanwhile, Google is also trying to face another reality about generative AI. And that is the fact that AI is expensive. The amount of compute that is needed for these cloud-based AI models is insane. It's one of my biggest hangups with generative AI. It's the fact that it needs enough power that it can disrupt a city's power grid. We've talked in the past about new data centers opening up and then refurbishing decommissioned nuclear plants to provide the necessary power for these AI data centers. This all costs a lot of money. And if a lot of the AI features have been given away for free with a premium tier to those who want to spend the money, how are these companies going to pay for these data centers? It can't all be through subscriptions, right? Well, Google's now look at the answer, and it's one that a lot of people are not going to like. It is the fact that advertisers will be able to bring ads to Gemini, their Google's AI model, in 2026. Which then also now means that skeptics don't have to be that skeptical to wonder if answers from these AI models are going to be influenced by advertisers or not. But I'll say this much. At least this is Google looking at the amount of money they're spending on AI and trying to figure out how to recoup those costs. This goes to another topic that a lot of people have been talking about as far as AI, and that is the great AI bubble. I know, a third word added to the Echo sort of voiceover. Almost every single consumer out there cannot wait for this stupid AI bubble to pop. But let's go over the basics of how this bubble forms. Companies are spending so much money right now, stupid amounts of money, all chasing after hardware specifically for AI. And a lot of these companies don't have the money. It's all bought on credit. We've talked about how this RAM shortage is allegedly started by OpenAI spending billions to possibly even trillions of dollars all on RAM just for their data centers. All right, that's cool and all, but where are you getting the money for this? You're creating this massive amount of supply, but the thing is that the only people that are interested in it are other AI activists who believe that AI can help save them a ton of money and costs. What happens when those results don't come? What happens when you inevitably hit the brick wall of generative AI and you've reached the limit of what generative AI can do because it is generative AI? By its very nature, we've mentioned this before, generative AI cannot understand. It can think, but it can't understand. It struggles to answer why. It is a hard limit in the generative AI model. That is going to come in the next iteration of AI. How long will it be until we get that sort of iteration of AI? Nobody knows. People will say they know, they don't. Nobody knows. But all these big AI companies are spending like this is their make or break moment. And I gotta ask, how are you going to pay for all this? we talked last week about OpenAI said they were going to go ahead and have ads in ChatGPT. Well, OpenAI now has come out and said that's wrong. They have no intention on doing that. Okay. Then how are you making your money? You're giving away a lot of your service for free. Granted, a lot of your premium features are behind a paywall, yes. But is that paywall enough? I wondered this. So I went ahead and looked up the profitability of OpenAI. And the thing is that, well, the first half of this year, they have made $4.3 billion in revenue, which is very impressive. However, they are not profitable right now. OpenAI has not turned a profit. In fact, you look at 4.3 billion. Let's just double that. That's dishonest, but let's just double that. Let's say for all of 2025, they are going to make 8.6 billion. Very respectable. And many companies would kill to be making that kind of money. Their current future plans are costing upwards of over $210 billion to expand. Now, logic would dictate, okay, you keep growing, and everything will be fine. You'll make more and more money. Eventually, you'll meet that goal of 200 billion. The question now becomes from where? Your customer base appears to only be other businesses. It continues to look as though it's just other tech giants that want in on this, or the flood of grifters wanting to go ahead and use this AI technology to quickly make a bunch of slop and try to profit on ad revenue on YouTube, TikTok, and other platforms like it. The general consumer, on the other hand, most don't care. Most are indifferent. And a growing population are very averse against AI. You're seeing more and more pushback. And right now, a lot of their growth is based on the fact there's no regulation. What happens when that regulation finally comes? More and more and more and more money is being spent on credit. Eventually, creditors are going to realize you have no way to pay it back. And just like that, the bubble pops. And it all comes crashing down. You're pumping more and more and more money into this dream that we build it, they will come. The thing is that the way you're going about it, by stealing creative data, by just, well, I mean, absolutely ruining the consumer and even some business market of hardware by your grow now mentality. You're getting more and more people to hate AI. Like right now, everyone just assumes that the story about OpenAI buying all this RAM is correct. The entire PC building community despises OpenAI because of this. Because their hobby, their industry, their passion is now dead. The only people who are going to buy or build a computer in 2026 are the people who have to. That's it. No one wants to pay these prices. And even though you are in fact, here's the thought for you. This Fortune article says that they plan on spending $207 billion for their growth plans. And they may not be able to even make this money back by 2030. How many different iterations of AI graphic cards is NVIDIA going to have by then? Are you going to cycle out all your Ada Lovelace cards? Actually, no, we're not on Ada Lovelace. Where are we on? Blackwell? I think we're on Blackwell right now. Are you going to swap out all your Blackwell cards for the next one that I already can't remember the name of when those come out? What about in 2 years after that? You look at all this, you look at how everyone's behaving, and it is very difficult to see how anyone could look at the current AI market and not see a bubble. You'd have to be insanely delusional to think that all of this money spending to not a lot of demand is not going to create a bubble. Like, this is what happened in the dot-com era almost to a T. So naturally, AMD is talking about how there is no AI bubble. And granted, AMD does have motivation to go ahead and deny that there's an AI bubble. GPUs have to go into a server somehow. AMD EPYC is probably the best CPU platform for I/O. Makes sense. You'd want something like that. So, here's where we are right now. And once again, all we can do is wait and see exactly how this is all going to go down. What do you think? You think the AI bubble is going to pop this year or next year? I should say it's not going to pop this year. I think it's likely to pop next year. I just don't know when. And already some experts are talking about these AI browsers and the fact that initial inspections on how they operate says that, you know, if you go ahead and do anything important, you should absolutely disable all AI browsers, these agentic browsers, because they are just far, far, far too much of a risk to use in any sort of secure setting. Heck, it might be too insecure to use in a household setting. But here we are. Oh. So we'll just have to wait and see how all that goes. It's going to be very, very interesting. Because, yeah, everything in AI is moving so fast, and so few people are actually testing any of it. Heck, YouTube is pretty much giving up all their moderation over to AI. How well do you think the AI-powered moderation on YouTube is going? Quick. How accurate do you think it is? How good do you think the AI moderation is on YouTube? Go on, guess. Just guess. If you said anything other than apocalyptic, you are incorrect. No, it is actually terrible. For you see, the AI moderation is going ahead and making some good choices, like it finds an account that sees that it is posting duplicate content from another content creator after the content was posted, and then going ahead and banning that account for just trying to go ahead and leech views off the original maker. That makes sense, okay? You know what it then does? It then also bans the original user too for trying to ban evade, because it sees that the original creator has the same video as the account that it just banned and immediately assumes, oh, you're ban evading. And what's even better is that the AI moderation has no failsafe. So it even tries to say that, don't worry, a human reviewed your appeal to being banned and has determined that we were correct. So if you're a content creator, you're at risk at any time of being banned because someone tried to steal your video. And you know what's even better about this? The current YouTube CEO has said that everything with AI and their moderation is going fantastic. That YouTube CEO Neil Mohan and his AI has banned something close to 12 million YouTube accounts, all because of video theft and AI slop trying to go ahead and milk views and steal ad revenue. And that these AI tools are improving so consistently. And it is just fantastic for all YouTubers. Whereas Streamer of the Year Moist Critical, who is also now a real voice actor, who he played a bat, has blasted Neil Mohan for defending these AI tools that has led to over a dozen longtime creators who have had well over 100,000 subscribers for having their entire accounts terminated and losing years upon years of work and their livelihoods. All because AI went ahead and accused those accounts of trying to ban evade for someone else. Look, I get that YouTube has to deal with a massive volume. Massive. I can understand the need to go ahead and automate bans. But here's the thing. You cannot have AI power the appeals too. And before anyone goes, YouTube is having people do the appeals, they even said so in the letter. Bull. Any person who would look at these appeals would know right away a mistake has been made. You cannot tell me the account made years before the copy is trying to ban evade an account that was made years after the account of the timing just doesn't make sense. Anyone who goes ahead and looks at that can figure this out. YouTube has to have actual people look at these cases. They cannot go ahead and have AI look at them and then lie to our faces blatantly and say that real people are looking at these and they say that the AI is correct. You either very clearly have AI doing the appeals, or you have people having AI write responses and are just bad at their jobs. The content creation space right now is terrible. Look at this. We got Twitch that doesn't know how to enforce rules at all, that lets terrorist supporters roam free on their website. But if you say anything about it, you get banned. Oh, that you can't do that. You got YouTube over here that may just ban you for the horrible, horrible crime of, well, being the victim of theft. How dare you? You have Twitter pretending it has a video streaming service when it really doesn't. And then you have Kick, which is somehow the most stable content creation platform, despite the fact it is propped up by questionably legal crypto gambling money, but is somehow treating their users with more respect than the other options. What a world. What a world. Like, what do you even say to all this? The answer is, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. We need a break. We need a break from all the AI stuff. And trust me, I have a little bit of non-AI news. We'll be back. I still can't believe The Verge went subscriber only. That's insane. Like I haven't been using The Verge all that often, mostly because the news curation systems I use to get my news and search for it have been avoiding The Verge because it hasn't been that reliable. But I've also just been avoiding it just because quite a few times when I use a Verge story, they just don't have essential facts. And now they think they're worth $5 a month. You're fucking crazy. I can't get over that. It's wild. Verge just wants to look reliable because of all the reputable sites charge now. I actually want to know something. Does Vox charge? I haven't looked at Vox in so long. Has Vox gone subscriber exclusive? Not only has Vox gone subscriber exclusive, but look at this shit. Vox, the parent company of The Verge, wants less money than The Verge. Vox wants $4 to become a member and read the rest of the article, whereas The Verge wants $5. I can't even. For $4 a month, I can get biased dribble, and for $5 a month, I can get tech news that ignores facts. I can't even. Honestly, I low-key hoped when I typed Vox into the Google bar that the first thing that was going to come up was the character from Has Been Hotel. I low-key hoped that was going to be the first hit. That would have been so funny. Or Glayman Fox would have also been funny. at Vox would get. Look, Has-Been Hotels Vox would, I don't know if it would give better news, but it would be more entertaining. And probably done musically. All right, let's see if we can pretend to finish off the podcast. I've got technically 15 minutes until kickoff. But I don't have to go anywhere, so there is that. Three, two, one. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. All right, let's finish off everything. First up, I said I had non-AI news. I lied. I have one last bit of AI news. Although, granted, most of my thoughts on this have nothing to do with the AI portion of this. Pebble's founder, Mr. Eric Mr. Eric, the founder of Pebble, has introduced a $75 AI smart ring specifically for recording notes with the press of a button. Now, this is not meant to be a very smart device. All right, and actually, I have a feeling that the actual AI portion of this is actually meant to be a buzzword, because the actual capability of this does not sound like it uses AI at all. In fact, everything about this seems very, very simple. Apparently, according to TechCrunch, the AI portion of this only comes into play via the open source speech to text. Okay, that makes some sense. And that the AI models run locally through your smartphone through the Pebble mobile app. So, I mean, as far as like AI goes, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Here's my biggest gripe with the device. Okay. And it's a very, very small gripe. I think it's too blatant. So here's the thing, right? When it comes to wearable tech, style is a factor. Okay? Like, I have an original Pebble watch here, in fact. And when you have it, it looks, like an odd digital watch, but it's still, perfectly normal. My actual smartwatch, the Samsung Gear, whatever the heck this is, it looks like a normal watch, although at first glance it looks very strange because it doesn't always have the watch face showing. But for the most part, it looks like, a watch. I think a ring with a button on it might be a bit much. Because at least like other bits of wearable tech look something close to the wearable fashion piece you normally wear. The smart glasses look like glasses. In fact, one of the biggest gripes the Google Glass got was the fact it looked like a tiny Dragon Ball Z scouter as opposed to glasses. That was one of the biggest pieces of ridicule they got. Smartwatches get away with it because they're watches. We've seen tons upon tons of different kinds of watches out there. I don't think this ring has a chance because it looks nothing like a normal ring you'd wear. It looks like an Acme button you put onto a ring. Like A for effort, but I think it would have been far better to incorporate this kind of technology into a watch or a bracelet. You probably could have done a bracelet way better. But a ring, I don't see it. I have a hard time seeing it. Who knows though? Maybe I'll be the only one without a button on their ring. That'll just be on me. Meanwhile though, Intel wants to give builders some hope. Rumors and listings have shown up for an Intel Arc Battlemage BMG-G31, which based on the nomenclature of the numbers is believed to be a new high-end Intel Arc GPU. This would be the rumored B770 GPU. This was rumored to exist and compete with kind of the mid-range and higher end of AMD and NVIDIA. Like, I think it's supposed to go toe-to-toe with like the 5070, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, considering the fact that Intel actually seems to price their GPUs at a rate that makes sense, as opposed to the strange fantasy land that AMD and NVIDIA seem to live in, a lot of people are looking at this and going, ooh, there might be hope. You might be able to afford a GPU, and it uses a normal 8-pin connector as opposed to the self-igniting 12-pin high power connector. Oh, there's hope for us yet. Too bad you all need some of this. Too bad for your computer builds. You all need some of these. This is going to be the most taunting prop I have until this build is done, by the way. These 2 sticks of DDR5. The biggest temptation is not to sell that RAM for like rent money or something. That's really the biggest problem right there. Also, how sad is that we're entering an era where I look at 2 sticks RAM and go, you know, I could sell that and pay for rent. What a world. What a world. In any case, we'll have to see if we see an Intel Arc B770 at CES. We are getting to that time of year. We need to start thinking about CES, which maybe it's just me, but I predict that this CES is going to be the most depressing CES since 2021. What can you do? What can you do? Meanwhile, some other rumors out there. Valve is looking to try an open source HDMI 2.1 so that the Steam Machine can officially get HDMI 2.1 support. So right now, the Steam Machine does not have in its standards that it supports HDMI 2.1. It has it listed as supporting 2.0, but it has access to some features of 2.1. The thinking right now, based on what little we know, is that they could not list HDMI 2.1 because not all of the features required to say your HDMI 2.1 are open source yet. So the reporting is, in fact, that the company is trying to go ahead and try to unblock certain features so that, in fact, HDMI 2.1 can, in fact, be open source and that more devices can support the standard without having to go ahead and kiss the ring of the HDMI forum. We'll have to wait and see if that goes through. But once again, I refer to my previous prayer of please let it happen. It would be so funny. It seems to be a prayer I'm reciting a lot these days. Speaking of other things trying to be open sourced and talked about with Linux, here's a report that fills me with disappointment. But it's not surprising in the least, is the fact that many big tech outlets are going to be working with the Linux Foundation to standardize AI agents. Now, the whole point is to try and create a standard across all platforms for utilizing these AI agents. However, I'd like you to listen to my counterpoint for a moment. Don't. Maybe don't do that. Maybe, just maybe, we should look at these AI agents and say, you know, maybe we should let them cook more. Considering that no outfit right now wants to touch these AI agents, and the current AI agents being used in the developer builds of Windows are somehow actually even more useless than an Amazon Echo Dot. But you know, what do I know? I just rant about technology from time to time. We'll have to wait and see how that all goes down. In the meantime, though, Microsoft is looking at Windows 11 and saying, wow, this is a problem. And they're going to go ahead and they promise that they are going to upgrade Windows 11 with better performance for gamers in 2026. And that they are committed to making Windows the best place to play. Okay, Valve. Valve. Come here for a second. Please. I'm begging you. Please release SteamOS to the desktop platform. It would be so funny. As Microsoft goes ahead and pushes out an update to try and make themselves more optimal for gaming. which I guarantee you, first off, any update that Microsoft puts out to make them a better place to game is going to make Windows 11 a worse place to game. I guarantee it. Microsoft has proven with their current workflow, I don't know what they're doing over at Microsoft to go ahead and program for Windows 11. It's not working. Whatever it is, I don't know whether it's using AI. I don't know if it's giving cocaine to dogs and letting them run across a giant keyboard. I don't know whether it is throwing darts at an idea board and telling interns to go and implement that. I don't know what they're doing, but it's not working. They need to course correct, but for whatever reason, major tech executives cannot admit what they're doing is wrong. They're all incapable of it. Every single one of them. They just can't do it. It's also why, if what we assume is going to be the next Xbox, which currently looks like it's going to be something very similar to the ROG Ally for Xbox, where it is a Windows PC running an Xbox skin over the top of it, it's just going to make everything even worse. Like right now, I haven't even gotten to the story yet, but right now, the Xbox is far and away the least selling console in the console wars. You know, as long as we ignore the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck isn't really a console, it's just doing its own thing, even though it basically is a console. Right now, the Xbox is being terrible. And if the Xbox goes ahead and says, you know what, let's run the bloated environment of Windows underneath a skin for Xbox, you're going to have a nightmare. It's going to be terrible. Oh, well. You do you, Microsoft. Actually, no, here's better yet. Microsoft, I think you're going to suck. Prove me wrong. There's your real challenge. Prove me wrong. By the way, in a new segment that really should be called "Please Let This Be Real, It Would Be So Funny," I give you this report. A Virginia startup is calling itself Operation Bluebird. Operation Bluebird has filed a formal petition to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to cancel the X Corporation's trademark for the words Twitter and tweet, since X has abandoned them. And this is all in an attempt to bring back actual Twitter. Now, Elon Musk hasn't responded to this, and quite frankly, I don't think this company is going to succeed in their endeavor, nor do I think their endeavor is a really good idea. I think this is a waste of everyone's time and money. And I think this has no chance of succeeding. But I do wish them all the luck in the world because it is really, 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 really funny. Even though most likely this has no chance to succeed because there is no legal standing for the trademarks to be rescinded. I don't know. Let's go ahead and wait and see what happens there. Nothing's going to happen there, by the way. As I mentioned before, right now, the Xbox system is currently dying. Like, there's no other way to say it. Here is some fun stuff for you. Okay. During Black Friday, the Sony PS5 crushed sales. More of these consoles selling than their two direct competitors. In fact, over half of all console sales were PS5s, outdoing the Switch 2 and the Xbox Series. The Switch 2 not doing well, that's not too surprising. The Switch 2 does not have a very good reputation right now. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Because, I mean, the Switch 2 has a future. It's just that the current option of games is bad for the Switch 2. The price is unappealing because it is still looked at as a portable console. And Microsoft's own policies with how they're handling the Switch 2 is by far a massive boat anchor to the Nintendo Switch 2's success. Their anti-consumer behavior is going to be the downfall of the Switch 2. Whereas the Xbox has the problem Did I say Microsoft Switch 2? I meant Nintendo. I don't care. Microsoft also has Microsoft's own problem is the fact their system sucks. Microsoft's problem is that the Xbox ecosystem is terrible. They both suck. That's the bottom line. Sony right now is crushing it in the console sales. Not because of the fact that they are above and beyond the best value. The PS5 is currently the best-selling console because it is the only choice by default. Someone in chat asked which Xbox. It doesn't matter. They all suck. The Xbox ROG Ally is way too overpriced. The average consumer doesn't want to get it because they're looking for a console price and the thing costs $1,000. The Xbox Series X costs something like $700-800, which is just unacceptable for a kid's console. And the Xbox Series S cannot play modern games. There are a lot of games on the Xbox console that will just only play on the Series X. and the price of the Series S has also gone up. Like, it doesn't matter. The entire ecosystem is terrible. Like, in hindsight, the biggest problem Xbox had is the fact they released two consoles with widely different performance. Someone in chat says the fact the midship upgrade meant they were DOA. I think the biggest problem that Xbox has is the fact that you released two consoles and nobody knows which is the correct one. The console market has always been very simple. It is the most brain dead way to get into gaming. I want to go ahead and game in this ecosystem. What do I get? You get the console. Which console? The only one. Microsoft saw this, or not Microsoft, Nintendo saw this very similar problem with the DS. Oh, you're supposed to get the 3DS. Which one? You're supposed to get the new 3DS. What do you mean the new one? That's what it's called. It's called the new one. What about the regular 3DS? Nope, not that one. That one won't play it. You need the new 3DS. You introduce hiccups like that and people are just like, forget it. The only reason Nintendo even could pretend to get away with it is because they have a monopoly on their own IP. Microsoft doesn't even have that. You look at the Xbox situation, you go, screw it. I'll just go ask my friend what kind of PC I should get. And then, of course, Microsoft goes ahead, says they have the best subscription service in gaming, up its price. Now you have even less reason to go ahead and get that. They keep talking about how their future will have everything be an Xbox. Then why should I buy an Xbox if everything's about to be an Xbox? You want to stay in the console market, keep it simple. Just remember KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Want to get into the PlayStation? What do you get? You get the PS5. But wait, there's a PS5 Pro. Yep, it's better than the PS5. That's it. Can a PS5 play anything the PS5 Pro does? Yep. Whereas with the Xbox Series S versus X, the X was 5 times the performance of the S. Surprise, surprise. Things were confusing. Meanwhile, though, there were the Game Awards. Yep, they did happen. And I hate to break it to you, but there is one very clear winner during the Game Awards. And the clear winner is Kermit the Frog, because he wasn't there. He went ahead and skipped the Game Awards, only sent Miss Piggy to deal with it, and clearly Kermit made the correct choice by not being there at the Game Awards at all. But no, the actual winner was Claire Obscure Expedition 33. The JRPG made by the French took away the most awards in the history of the Game Awards, taking home 9 awards. 9 awards. out of the 12 nominations they got. They actually lost 3. It's surprising. Unfortunately, this article I got from the CBC does not mention the award. Why does this not mention the awards they got? God dang it, I feel like I'm going insane. Who wrote this? Who wrote this and didn't write down the 9 awards that won? It does mention they won Best Game Direction, Best Narrative, and Best Independent Game, as well as Game of the Year. Someone in chat said AI did. AI did a better job of reporting on this game than an actual journalist did. F minus. I can't believe some people. You would assume actual journalists would go ahead and be able to do their job correctly. But then again, you know, The Verge exists. Here we go. They won Game of the Year, Best Performance. Specifically, Jennifer English won Best Performance. Best Role-Playing Game, Best Independent Game, Best Narrative, Best Debut Indie Game, Best Score, Best Art Direction, and Best Game Direction. You know what? I just love the fact that usually these game awards, RPGs usually take a back seat to other quote unquote real games. And here, not only did an RPG take Game of the Year, but a turn-based RPG took Game of the Year. Actually, in the year before that, didn't actually Baldur's Gate 3 also took Game of the Year a while back, so I mean, there is that too. But it's a record-setting 9 awards. 9 awards. The most amount of awards any game has taken at the Game Awards. Taken by a French JRPG. To which I have 2 things to say. 1, every single hater of this, please keep crying. Your tears are sweet and delicious. And 2, hey, Square, when are you gonna go ahead and make a high quality RPG again? And not like, oh, we went ahead and made a Final Fantasy ultra cinematic, but made the combat as Devil May Cry as can be. No. I mean, getting back to your roots. Where is true ATB? Where is true turn-based? And no, Octopath Traveler doesn't count. I do still like Octopath Traveler though. Someone in chat said FF7R. I don't consider the FF7 remakes a true ATB because it is an action RPG first. And then they spiced it up with the old ATB system. It's fun. Don't misunderstand me. But I'm just saying. Turn-based RPGs are not dead. They're not too old. And this is no longer a... You have to look at this and you can no longer say that everyone who is yearning for turn-based RPG combat is just old man yells at cloud. Because the French went ahead, of all people, went ahead and said, yeah, no, that genre ain't dead. So come on, Square. Let's try not and get embarrassed by the French. I'm sure you can make a JRPG better than a small French indie studio. And yes, I'm going to keep mentioning that it is a French studio. You can say it's too embarrassing. I think that's the point. That, and to me, it's really, really funny. In all seriousness, though, congrats to the team. They made one heck of a game that I actually really do need to play. Like, unironically, I need to go ahead and play that. Meanwhile, though, Netflix trying to buy Warner Brothers has encountered a new challenger. Paramount is putting in a bid to buy Warner Brothers because God forbid that we just have companies remain companies. Look, clearly my opinion does not matter as far as who buys Warner Brothers. So all I'll do is just leave you with the funny imagery of a multiplayer Pac-Man game of every single media company trying to eat each other like they're the freaking little dots on a Pac-Man board. Can we please not? The media industry is not Pac-Man. Please stop Pac-Manning everything. There. That's all I can contribute. I don't remember the exact amount, but I do know that Paramount is up. Yep, there. Never mind. There it is. $108 billion for this hostile takeover bid of Warner Brothers. Which, of course, because every single takeover bid has all kinds of questionable people behind it. We have this $108 billion bid, also partially funded not only from Paramount, but also backed up by Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, and of course, the fund was started by Jared Kushner, the strangest Pac-Man player in all of this. Let's just flip the table and move on. That's all I got. I mean, the next story can't be any more strange and outlandish, right? Nothing can go ahead and look at this and go, oh man. You'd have to go ahead and have something crazy like a flying car to top the insanity that is that story. Ah, heck. Yep. That implausible flying car that has a perforated hood and trunk is now moving into production and is going to be handmade in California. Uh-huh. The whole concept of this thing is that the propulsion to get it off the ground would be in two perforated sections, the front and rear of the vehicle, lifting it off the ground and all being powered by electric. So it is tons of electric batteries handling not only the on-the-ground powering, but also in the air. Now, allegedly, this vehicle is able to get 220 miles on the ground and 110 miles in the air. I don't believe you. I don't believe these numbers at freaking all. They are literally unbelievable numbers. You're not going to tell me that on the ground, you're going to get 220 miles. But by lifting the whole thing into the air and constantly powering that is only going to cut the range in half. There is no way. I don't believe you in the slightest. It sets off the BS detector like nobody's business. So yeah, we can't wait to go ahead and see how well the actual finished models end up being. And finally, I bring you the last burb, the last story of the day, the weirdest story of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where it's hard to believe anything, okay? Between CGI being omnipresent in video creation, as well as the use of AI in creating hoaxes, it's very easy to see why any sort of claims like a kickboxing robot might be hard to believe. Well, Engine AI went ahead and provided proof that, in fact, their T800 humanoid robot is real, bipedal, and fully functional by having the robot kick their own CEO down in order to shut down the CGI claims. You know what my favorite part of the story is? Here's my favorite part of the story. This doesn't disprove anything. You can 100% use CGI to go ahead and body replace someone who kicked your CEO with a robot model. Like, that's not hard. Heck, you can even keep the CEO safe by having the whole thing generated by AI instead. Like, this doesn't prove anything. But you know what? Good on you, Engine AI CEO, for willing to go ahead and take a kick to go ahead and prove that you believe that no one's BSing you. So I guess you have that going for you. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Eagle Eyes on Tech. Thank you so much for listening, and I do encourage you to check out my other works, youtube.com/EagleFalcon and twitch.tv/EagleFalcon. Take care, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye. You know, I do have a few questions now. We've been staring at this screenshot of the video for way too long. First off, why is the robot in sneakers? Like, the rest of it's in this like camo green sort of thing, but why is it wearing white sneakers? Like, that's like the first thing that seems a little odd to me. Second, where are its hands? Why does it have arms but no hands? And third, why is the place it's kicking not the nuts? Look, I'm just saying, if I had an AI-powered robot and it wanted to go ahead and prove that it was real, the first thing it'd do is kick someone in the nuts to prove it for everyone. Not just because it would be a good blow and the most logical place to kick a mortal, a human being, but also it'd be really, really funny. And if there's one thing that in this world of doom and gloom news that we need more things to just be really, really funny. Seriously though, where are its hands? Oh, hey, we actually got the video. We can go ahead and watch that before I close up shop. Podcast is over, by the way. We need more AI robots to give the old grab his dick and twist it. Okay, it does have hands.
我感觉这防护不够齐全，应该差不多吧？腿是吧？没事没事，应该。
采访一下你，你现在心情如何？紧张吗，老板？第一次跟 T800正面硬刚。
我他妈有点心虚了。
要这么厚吗？ 来上，来啊！
开始了，3、2、1。
Why did it seem way smaller in that one shot?
换一下。
太暴力了，太骂了。刚才踢到那脚，其实
something seems off with the way it's moving. Like it's I don't know, I feel like I need to review this more in not a an X preview window. It's possible it's just remote controlled. Oh, it's very possible. But no, the thing that kind of stands out to me, it looks like the robot is moving at a different frame rate than the rest of the video. And maybe it's just giving that illusion. Because first off, this is, you know, crappy X compression. So it could be that, and it's just playing tricks with me. Like, this doesn't disprove that it's not CGI. Like, this very easily could be done with CGI. For sure. I say very easily. It's not easy, but it is doable. It is plausible. And then even then, it doesn't prove that it's, you know, a fully sustained robot. Like you're saying, it could easily be remote controlled with full motion capture. That's also very, very possible. It's not a guy in a suit. I feel confident saying it's not a guy in a suit. It's way too narrow here. But it's not hard to say, have a guy kick like this and then do a model replacement in post. That would be a robot. That is still possible.
老板什么感想？老板什么感想？还好吧？换一下。
太暴力了，太骂了。刚才踢到那脚，其实如果不带护具，没有人能撑得住，这里绝对会骨折。
还有下一期吗？还有下一期吗，老板？还有下一期吗？
有下一期，但是我不保证还活着。
All right, well, that's that. All right, with that said, everyone, it is time for us to close up shop. I will be back later on today in about 2 or 3 hours after the game with FF14. But with that, we're going to close up shop here. Take care. We'll be back later. Bye-bye.